darn... Oh, did it derp out again? Nope. Alright, there it goes. Whatever reason, Slob's updated, and the recording button is giving me some fits. Well, when we last left off, before I have this bowl of spaghetti meatballs and some spinach, and it's pretty good stuff. We left off at the unique races of Eberron. Changelings, Kalashtar, Shifters, and Warforged. Oh, you powered through. You're on Chapter 6 already? Well, again, anything you want to bring up or go back over, Fluffy, you let me know. This is an interactive channel, not just me preaching. Changelings. Wherever humans can be found, there are changelings. The question is whether their presence is known. Changelings are born to one of three paths. A few are raised in stable communities where changelings are true to their nature and deal openly with people around them. Some are orphans raised by other races who find their way in the world without ever knowing another like themselves. Others are part of a nomadic changeling clan spread across the 5 nations who keep their true nature hidden from these single skins. In creating a changeling adventurer, consider the character's relationship with the people around them. Does the character conceal their true changeling nature? Do they embrace it? Do they have connections to other changelings, or are they alone and in search of companions? Your charisma score increases by 2, and your dexterity or intelligence increases by 1, your choice. It's pretty nice to have choices, isn't it? Dex and int, or dex and charisma. I'm sorry, charisma and dex, or charisma and intelligence. That's a good, powerful choice to have as a race. Changeling Instincts. You get proficiency with 2 of the following skills of your choice. Deception, Intimidation, Insight, and Persuasion. Pretty good, huh? Unsettling Visage. When a creature you can see makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll. You must use this feature before knowing whether the attack hits or misses. Using this trait reveals your shape-shifting nature to any creature within 30 feet that can see you. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Divergent Persona. You gain proficiency with 1 tool of your choice. Define a unique identity associated with that proficiency. Establish the name, race, gender, age, and other details. While you are in the form of this persona, the related proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses that proficiency. So, expertise in a tool. Not bad. You can speak, read, and write Common and 2 other languages of your choice also. Kalashtar. The Kalashtar are a compound race created from the union of humanity and renegade spirits from the plane of dreams. Spirits called Quarry. Kalashtar are often seen as wise spiritual people with great compassion for others. But there's an unmistakable alien quality to the Kalashtar, as they are haunted by the conflicts of their otherworldly spirits. Fluffy, I did not play it, though I did incorporate elements of it into my 4th edition homebrews when 4th edition was the edition. Hey, Ninbins, good to see you. Welcome aboard. Glitch Scatter, hello to you. Welcome. Every Kalishtar has a connection to a spirit of light shared by other members of their bloodline. Kalishtar appear human, but the spiritual connection affects them in a variety of ways. Kalishtar have symmetrical, slightly angular features. The eyes of a Kalishtar often glow when it is focused on a task or feeling strong emotions. The Kalishtar can't directly communicate with their quarry spirits. The Kalishtar might experience this relationship as a sense of instinct and inspiration, drawing on the memories of the spirit when they dream. This connection grants Kalishtar minor psionic abilities, as well as protection from psychic attacks. All of these dream spirits are virtuous, but some of the warriors and others are more contemplative. And it asks you to work with your DM to determine the nature of your link. For example, your quirk, Fluffy Koala, run, follow me if you want to live. Thank you very much for that follow. You prefer using telepathy over speaking aloud? You discuss things out loud with your quarry spirit. You prefer to find non-violent solutions to problems whenever possible. This is an extra roleplay consideration to really bring the flavor of the Kalishtar to your character, and not just have a Kalishtar be a set of numbers or mechanics for you to use. I mean, can you? Sure. There's mechanics, and we're going to get to those next here. But to really, what is a Kalishtar, and why do you have the mechanics that you do? Well, it's up here. Your wisdom and charisma scores both increase by 1. In addition, one ability score of your choice increases by 1. Dual Mind. When you make a wisdom saving throw, you can use your reaction to gain advantage on the roll. You can use this trait immediately before or after you roll, but before any of the roll's effects occur. Mental Discipline. You have resistance to psychic damage. Mind Link. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathic messages. But the creature must be able to understand at least one language or be telepathic itself. As a bonus action, when you're speaking telepathically to a creature, you can give that creature the ability to speak telepathically to you until the start of your next turn. To use this ability, the creature must be within 60 feet of you and be able to see you. Megatron says, would I be understanding the Changelings correct to understand they can change classes as they would change their playing out the role they change into? Yeah, Koala, it's a persona. They don't change classes. It's more that they just get into to get this expertise tool proficiency. They've lived as a dwarven smith with this alternate identity for so long that this form carries a natural muscle memory for hitting a hammer and using, tongs and bellows. It's not a class change, and it's not even a race change. It's an appearance change that then brings to mind perhaps certain muscle memories or something along those lines. You just get into the role, and that gives you the expertise in that tool. Megaton, gotcha. I get what you're saying now. You just misunderstood. Fluffy Koala Envoys, on the other hand, however. Miss Genocide, hello, welcome. It's great to have you back here. Good to see you. Ninbin's Envoys are beautiful. Koala says, can adapt tools into them, and vehicles are mechanically considered tools. So I'm not saying they're Transformers, comma, but. I'm not saying they're Transformers. Psychic Glamour. Choose one of the following skills. Insight, Intimidation, Performance, or Persuasion. You have advantage on all ability checks you make with that skill. Severed from Dreams. Kalishtar sleep, but they don't connect to the plane of dreams as other creatures do. Instead, their minds draw from the memories of their otherworldly spirit while they sleep. As such, you are immune to magical spells and effects that require you to dream, like the dream spell, but not to spells and effects that put you to sleep, like the sleep spell. You're immune to spells and effects that require you to dream. I mean, there is the dream spell. Am I missing some others? Is this just a very unique resistance or immunity in this case to the spell? Or is there another spell or two that I'm missing that this would that this could possibly come up and be relevant? Delcorin's going into a random dungeon. A 6 and an 8. We have advantage. Oh, but still, Delcorin does not escape the ooze. Caden, thank you very much for the host. Daily, hi. Nightmare would be one. Isn't Nightmare a part of Dream, though? I thought Nightmare was just a mode within the Dream spell that you can activate instead. The Kalishtar are exiles from the evil Psionic Empire. I remember you talking about them when we had the map up, Bubonic one. Shifters. Shifters are sometimes called the Were-Touched, as many believe that they are descendants of humans and lycanthropes. They're humanoids with a bestial aspect. While they cannot fully change shape, they can temporarily enhance their animalistic features, a state they call shifting. Whatever their origins, shifters have evolved into a unique race. A shifter walks on a knife's edge between the wilds and the world around them. Do they embrace their primal instincts or the path of civilization? Oh, gotcha, Deagle. Not Deagle, Daily. Your name is pronounced Daily, Daily, Daily. I pronounce Daily, Daily. The Beast Within. Early in childhood, a shifter forms a bond with a beast within, a totemic force that shapes their body and mind. Some shifters believe that these spirits are independent entities, and many speak of bear or wolf as ancestors or guides. And if you look, this is a kind of a racial feature of the totem warrior barbarian archetype. The beast within is reflected by a shifter's subrace. 4 subraces are especially common. Beast-hide often signifies the bear or boar, stoic, stubborn, thick-skinned. Long-toothed shifters typically have a lupine trait and prefer to run with a pack. Swift stride are often predatory and feline, but a swift stride could also be a cunning rat who darts through the shadows. And a wild hunt. Wild hunt shifters are born from any creature that tracks its prey. Presumably, you could have a snake or a lizard or something along those lines. Heck, maybe even bugs. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see when we get there specifically. All right. Your dex score increases by 1. Base walking of 30, so they're not tabaxis. Dark vision, you have superior vision in dark and dim conditions. 60 feet. Keen senses, you have proficiency with the perception skill. Shifting. As a bonus action, you can assume a more bestial appearance. This transformation lasts for 1 minute until you die, or until you revert your normal appearance as a bonus action. When you shift, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your constitution modifier, minimum 1. You also gain additional benefits that depend on your shifter subrace, as described below. Once you shift, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. Let's see, you know common. And here we have our subraces. Beasthide. So you'd be getting a 1 dex and 2 con. You'd have proficiency with the athletics skill. And whenever you shift, you gain 1d6 additional temporary hit points. And while shifted, you have a +1 bonus to your AC. That's pretty good. Longtooth. Your strength score increases by 2, so a dex 1, strength 2. You have a proficiency with the intimidation skill. While shifted, you can use your elongated fangs to make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. If you hit with your fangs, you can deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength mod. So that's kind of like the Tabaxi built in their claw attack. Hey, Nebraska Dave, good to see you. Bubonic One's Sacred Flame destroyed all lycanthrope in Eberron, or like to believe they did, and go berserk if lycanthropes are uncovered. Says Bubonic One. Swift Stride. Your dexterity and charisma scores increase by 1, so I guess you'd end up with a 2 dex, 1 charisma. You have proficiency with the acrobatics skill. Your walking speed increases by 5 feet. Okay, so then you'd go up to 35. And while shifted, your walking speed increases by an additional 5 feet. So while shifted, you would have a base 40 walking speed. Additionally, you can move up to 10 feet as a reaction when an enemy ends its turn within 5 feet of you. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Something to keep in mind. Oh, wait, no, that says when it ends its turn within 5 feet of you. Interesting, so then the enemy couldn't continue using any unused movement in order to catch up. I was going to think that's how something like that can be, I don't want to say balanced, because balance shouldn't exist necessarily, at least not as a specific quantifiable thing. I don't know. What do you all think of that one? If you could just always take your reaction to move 10 feet away from a melee monster that wants to get you, well, I guess if it wanted to attack you, it would already get to attack you, and then at the end of its turn, you'd get to move away. I don't know. What do you all think of that one? Does that seem okay? Does that seem like a combat complication in a bad way? Does it seem like it's too powerful or not powerful enough because you're still getting hit in melee? What are your thoughts on that? Lastly, the Wild Hunt. Your wisdom increases by 2, so you're 1 dex, 2 whiz. You have proficiency with survival. As a bonus action, you can mark 1 creature you can see within 10 feet of you. Until the end of your next long rest, your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make to find the marked creature. And you always know the location of that creature if it's within 60 feet of you. You can't use this trait again until you finish a short or long rest. And while shifted, you have advantage on wisdom checks. I don't know about that one either. I don't know. I'm not questioning it that it might be too powerful. The Wild Hunt, if you're to choose it as a race, I mean, unless you just like playing random weird stuff, I see this as a race that would, as it is, would be picked for convenience if you know beforehand the campaign's going in that direction. And that you would actually get to, you know, mark your targets, or it would be like a bounty hunting campaign or something along those lines. In general practice, I don't see the Wild Hunt being a very popular choice for going into some sort of universal anything can happen campaign. Koala, it's a reaction. It's a reaction when the enemy finishes its turn. So even if there's unused motion on the enemy's behalf, it would be declared ended because that's when the turn ends. That said, the enemy that closed in for melee against this character could still swing, because the swing occurs before the end of the turn. And therefore then you'd get the free 10-foot, you know, pop back after you've presumably already taken the damage. Interesting, though, when you pop away like that, you're already going to be faster than, you know, what, 90% of the enemies you'll face. Getting an extra 10 feet, let alone if you're shifted and you have a base speed of 40, on top of whatever you might get as a rogue, a barbarian, and or a monk. It makes you highly mobile on the field. And I can see... I don't know, it would almost be like playing a game of tag in combat, in a combat situation. I'm saying you used your unarmed movement. Well, Fluffy, so that's just coming off of what the Swift Stride itself is giving. It doesn't have anything to do with the monk or the barbarian extra movement. If you're using ranged, it also removes disadvantage without provoking the opportunity attack. Oh yeah, that's true, because if you're a ranged Swift Stride, someone closes into melee on you, they'll get the swing, but you get a free move back so that they can't tag you, you know, because 10 feet back you can pull your string and let loose. Just based on gut instinct, which could be wrong, Swift Stride seems really good. Wild Hunt seems very situational. Longtooth. Longtooth is alright. I mean, what, you get 1 dex, 2 strength. Probably a lot of barbarians and such might take that. Maybe even monks. Fighters. While shifted, you could use your elongated fangs to make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. So that's starting at level 1. So if you go fighter or barbarian, you could swing bite in melee combat. And then when you hit level 5, you go swing bite in melee combat. An unarmed strike is not finesse, and so it would require strength. So yeah, you'd probably be a barber, a fighter, or something along those lines here. Oh, I guess that one's okay. You get more damage output. And Beast Hide, whenever you shift, you gain additional hit points and +1 bonus to your AC. You only shift for a minute, but let's be fair. A minute is most combats. So that would mean at level 1, if you are a Beast Hide Paladin with a standard... I guess, I'm sorry, it would be level 2. So you can take your defensive fighting style. So a level 2 Beast Hide Paladin would be sitting on temporary hit points and have an AC of 20 at level 2. In this specific instance, I want to make sure that I'm making that clear and I'm not misrepresenting something. But if you built a Beast Hide Shifter Paladin, your fighting style was defense, giving you a +1 to your AC. You shift, not only would you then get, let's see, shifting your level plus your con modifier. So, I don't know, probably what? 4 or 5 temporary hit points. You would then be sitting on another, so we'll just say an average of 3. So, shifting as this paladin, you are sitting on 8 temporary hit points with a 20 AC. Yeah, 10 rounds is a very long time, Daily. For all or any of you who are new here, as you can see, I invested in a second camera, and I have this stuff going on down here. I would say Wild Hunt is the weakest of them. The other ones are pretty good. Wild Hunt seems weak in comparison to the other 3. Yeah, shield. That's a starting chainmail and shield, plus your level 2 fighting style of defensive. Then with your shifter bonus of a +1. You'd be sitting on a 20 AC with an average of, what, 8 temporary hit points. Well, that's just it, Koala. These other 3 sub-races are universal. In a D&D campaign, you're probably going to get hit in combat. Or you're going to need to deal damage in combat, or your mobility is going to come into play in combat or other situations. Wild Hunt? Unless you're taking it because a wisdom bump of 2 as a race is really good, the campaign itself would really have to go out of its way to offer you opportunities to use your tracking, scent, and your shifting feature. Maybe the balancing feature to that is because I can't think of another race that gives you a +2 wisdom. Hill dwarves give you a 1. And is that it? Are hill dwarves the only one that... Well, I mean, humans and half-elves, you could select wisdom, but that's still only a 1. So, I don't know. Is the wisdom... Is a racial wisdom bump of 2, along with the intrinsic dex 1 that you're going to get? I mean, that would make a really good monk, wouldn't it? Wild Hunt, your wisdom score increases by 2, and you get dex inherent. I don't know. A druid. Morganrath, a Furbolg. Yeah, I guess I haven't considered the splat races. I've just been considering the core rulebook ones. But you are correct, Morganrath. Yeah, I mean that's a starting extra 1. And wisdom is I mean, look, that's clerics. That's clerics and druids. You can get some good stuff in with a high wisdom score. I'm sorry, rangers and monks get their abilities off of wisdom too. Okay, well, I mean, to continue, I don't want to just linger on here. I think Wild Hunt can be good if the campaign is designed to help you use it. Otherwise, you have defense, offense, or speed. You know, we're playing Pokemon. What kind of a Pokemon do you want? Otherwise, Wild Hunt is... I guess what? Wild Hunt would be a roleplay choice, right? If we boil it down, we have our tank, we have our damage dealer, we have our speedster, and then we have the roleplay guy. It would feed perception, yeah. While shifted, you have advantage on wisdom checks. I would say it's a very roleplay heavy sub-race. In terms of racial ability economy, the Furbolg is a much better choice. What's the tidbits of a Furbolg, Ninbins? I don't have that immediately up on my screen. The Warforged were built to fight in the last war. The first Warforged were mindless automatons, but House Cannith devoted vast resources to improving these steel soldiers. An unexpected breakthrough produced fully sentient soldiers, blending organic and inorganic materials. Warforged are made from wood and metal, but they can feel pain and emotion. Built as weapons, they must now find a purpose beyond the war. A Warforged can be a steadfast ally, a cold-hearted killing machine, or a visionary in search of purpose and meaning. Looks like you'll get a fun little quirk here by being a Warforged. Let's take a look at a couple of them. You don't understand emotions and often misread emotional cues. You often say the things you're thinking out loud without realizing it. You don't understand clothing beyond its utility and assume that what a creature wears denotes its job and status. You are deeply concerned with following proper procedures and protocols, or war is the only thing that makes sense to you, and you're always looking for a fight. Warforged traits. Your con score increases by 1. Base speed of 30. Warforged resilience. You are created to have remarkable fortitude, represented by the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage. You are immune to disease. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep, and don't suffer the effects of exhaustion due to lack of rest. And magic can't put you to sleep. When you take a long rest, you must spend at least 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state rather than sleeping. In this state, you appear inert, but it doesn't render you unconscious, and you can see and hear as normal. Integrated protection. Your body has built-in defensive layers, which determine your armor class. You gain no benefit from wearing armor, but if you're using a shield, you apply its bonus as normal. You can alter your body to enter different defensive modes each time you finish a long rest. Each time you finish a long rest, choose one mode and adopt from the integrated protection table, provided you meet the mode's prerequisite. Subrace. As a Warforged, your body was designed for a specific purpose. Choose one of these subraces: Envoy, Juggernaut, or Skirmisher. As an Envoy, you were designed with a certain specialized function in mind. You might be an assassin, a healer, or an entertainer, to name a few possibilities. Envoys are the rarest of the Warforged subraces, and yours could be a unique design. 2 different ability scores your choice increase by 1, so it's 1 con and 1 to 2 other things. Specialized design, you gain 1 skill proficiency of your choice, 1 tool proficiency of your choice, and fluency in 1 language of your choice. Additionally, you get an integrated tool. Choose 1 tool you're proficient with. This tool is integrated into your body, and you double your proficiency bonus for any ability checks you make with it. You must have your hands free to use this integrated tool. And the integrated protection that all Warforged get down here. Darkwood Core. 11 plus your Dex mod. Composite plating. You must have armor, medium armor proficiency. 13 plus Dex. Or heavy plating. 16 plus your proficiency bonus. Disadvantage on stealth checks. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. What else? As a Juggernaut, your strength, so 1 con, 2 strength. When you make an unarmed strike, you can deal 1d4 plus your strength modifier, bludgeoning damage instead of normal. Powerful build, you count as 1 size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. Morganrath says, don't need to breathe is very powerful. That is, yes, that is. Fluffy Koala, we can all agree Kalishtar is the weakest Eberron race, though, right? We're getting there. Ninbans, Furbolgs get to talk to small critters, become invisible once per rest, and get racial spellcasting in a powerful build. 107, Warforged Fighter, Danger, Will Robinson, Danger. Ninban's a Warforged Artificer is my dream character. Fluffy Koala, level 1, 20 armor, baby. Paisy, hey, it's good to see you, Paisy. Been a little while. How's it been going over here? I'm hoping Eberron 5e has been a good read. Yeah, it's interesting to see how these concepts have transferred into 5th edition. You're built to scout the edges of battle, outmaneuver your enemies. You're lean and designed for speed. Your dex score increases by 2. Your walking... Oh, I'm sorry, that's Skirmisher. Juggernaut... Okay, so you can just punch, and you have a powerful build. I mean, having a strength score increase by 2 is okay. Iron Fists? I guess if you're stripped of weapons? And, Juggernaut just... I don't know. Juggernaut doesn't seem like what it is. Does that make sense? Let's see. Skirmisher, you're built to scout the edges of battle and outmaneuver your enemies. You're lean and designed for speed. Your dex score increases by 2. Your walking speed is increased by 5 feet. When you're traveling alone for an extended period of time, you can move stealthily at a normal pace. Pretty good. It's a little extra edge if you're a barbarian, right? Con 1, dex 2, and an increased speed of 5. And if you're doing any home brewing at home, remember this. Someone with a walking speed of 35 can move by default more quickly and outrun, outpace, outlast 90% of D&D that exists. So just that extra 5 feet of intrinsic motion is very powerful. Don't forget that. Paisy, I was reading that somehow this $20 purchase is a playtest, but it looks fairly fleshed out. Paisy, it is a playtest. This is effectively a big fat unearthed arcana right now. However, in the opening paragraph, it is said that as the playtest information comes back to the writers and the developers, this book will be updated for free, and so you could download whatever refined versions come of it. So it is a $20 investment, but you're getting a living document that will that will grow and have this feedback incorporated into it. Yeah, Fluffy, exactly. So this is powerful in itself. You're like, yeah, 5 feet, come on. 5 feet can make a big difference. So of the 3, Juggernaut just... I guess that's our roleplay class. I'm not really... I don't know why you would really want to play a Juggernaut. Mechanically, I have on... I'm not really min-maxing per se, but I'm putting on my mechanics cap, right? I have my blue overalls, and we're looking at things mechanically right now. It seems like a really cool... it seems like a really cool roleplay class, I guess. Or if you want to be a muscle supporter. Mechanically, Juggernaut actually seems weak to me. Unless I'm missing something. Skirmisher, your dexterity. Skirmisher's really good. For downtime stuff and for combat. Envoy, I mean, look at what Envoy gets. You get 2 different ability scores of your choice increased by 1. You gain a skill proficiency and a tool proficiency and a language, and you get an integrated tool. Envoy, hands down, has got to be the best of the 3 for roleplay. For roleplay and even mechanical purposes, for fluff and for crunch. I don't know why you would really want to play any of the other 2 unless you really wanted to make kind of a speedster. Or if you want to play a mule. You're a metal beast of burden? Really? Yeah, Skirmisher has perks, but Envoy is definitely is in my opinion the best as it's presented. Morgan Rath says, so Warforged die normally, nothing special, and they drop to 0. No, nothing mechanical. Morgan Rath. Paisy, integrated tool sounds great. I'm gonna whip out my Crichton 2x4b. Wait, what? 2x4b. Oh, groinal attachments. Yeah, I don't know. Skirmisher for sure. I mean, something, yeah, because you get Dex and Con as a monk, that's not bad. Though, this... Already, when your walking speed is increased by 5... I'm not saying that it makes the monk extra movement irrelevant, but if you're already getting extra movement, even 5 feet from somewhere, all of a sudden... Does the extra movement really matter all that much? Will you get a ton more use out of it? Crichton is a robot character in Red Dwarf. His Hoover connects via the groin. Ah, gotcha, Paisy. Oh, Daily! Oh, snap!
Well, I mean, now that you know my name, it just feels like we should do this right.
Daily? With the $10? I presume that you would like to go for the blind pull from one of the boxes? If so, which rare would you like to get? We have the Elemental Evil box or the Rage of Demons box. You do it right away. Let's do elemental. Okay. So, everyone, Daily has Daily. You don't have to say publicly in chat. But I presume, do you have a U.S. address, or otherwise we can work out the. I'm gonna have to get the shipping info from you. So what Daily did is for $10, I'm gonna pull the rare from this box of minis, and this is gonna be Daily's box. This is gonna be Daily's rare, no matter if it's a $20, $30 rare or whatever's in it. Paisy, this is a way for us to. This is a way for us to do a little fundraising for the channel, and to also kind of help people build up. To help build their miniature collections. And so, while these normally retail for $15 to $18, for $10, I'm willing to do a blind pull of the rare that's inside this box. Okay, Daily. So then this will be, I will ship this. I'll get your info in a private message, either through Discord or Twitch or something, and I'll get your address, and I will ship this out to you with first-class mail that has tracking info. If you want it sooner, then we could talk and maybe a little extra through PayPal or something to cover that. Otherwise, it is what it is. Shipping to the UK would be $15, Paisy. If you did that, you would probably want to order several figures at once, if you want to kind of disperse the cost. All right, so it's open. Are you ready, Daily? And this is what you're getting. Whoops. I thought she would have been tied in there. All right, so Daily, inside your box, I'm going to presume that this is the rare. Let me find the platform. Yes, let's see. This is a Solar Angel. So, everyone clap for Daily. Daily, congratulations on your Solar Angel. That being said, let's take a look at what other minis are in here, because these minis are now available in kind of an open marketplace for any of you who wanted to purchase them individually or as a group, and I'll bunch them up together and send them out to you. So this one is an... Oh, this is a Galeb Dur, it looks like. Come on, camera. There it is. Also, what was in here... a Snurfneblin Rogue. A Snurfneblin Rogue. Jason, I'm an essential NPC. Please do not maim, harm, kill, or otherwise I do not carry valuable items. Lastly, included in the pack is a fire bat. Translucent. Here we go. All right. So, Daily or anyone else, these figures now, the Snurfneblin Rogue, the Galeb Dur, and the Firebat, these are available, and they're available, and you could get them for 300 bits or a donation of $3, plus there is a shipping fee. At least there's a base one. So if you want more figurines and I can throw them all in together, that could save ultimately. Now, here is the replacement box. Here is an Elemental Evil that is going to replace the one that was just opened. So if any of you are feeling lucky, congratulations once more to Daly, who ended up getting the Solar Angel. Corrida, hello, welcome. So continuing on, actually, there we go. Hair Swags, is there anything cool for a paladin in this one? Yes, Hair Swags. Actually, we were just talking about it in this module. Dun, 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 dun. If you're just going for mechanics and not necessarily roleplay, but we're just talking about pure numbers, if you come up to the shifters and you are a beast hide shifter, at level 2, with the starting equipment you get, you can have a 20 AC, and when you shift, you have a 20 AC, and you'll be sitting on about 8 temporary hit points. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for a paladin if you want to play a tanky kind of paladin. If you want to play a maximum, damage output paladin, you might want to go for the long tooth and get a bonus unarmed strike. Hi, Fiendish. It's been a while. When's the Maddie Morgs podcast coming out? You could get that through the VOD, or I do broadcast segments on YouTube as well. Corrida, I may have found someone who will be doing a virtual tabletop DMing. His name may be very tabletop-y even. I don't know if I'm following you, Corrida. Paisy, I'll need to have a look at races. I want more cute ideas like turtles. Well, you're getting the 4 races of Eberrons are Shifters, Kalishtar, Warforged, and Changelings. And you know what? Turtle, you could run a beast hide as a turtle or like a reptile, something along those lines. Because these are just broad descriptions. So if there's an animal that you prefer, you can make a swift stride. You can make a swift stride as a rabbit, I guess, if you really want. You could have a rabbit shifter. You've gotten into watching people play GTA 5 online using a special mod for RP. AKA, I've been watching a lot of GTA RP. So what? Just I guess a modern world, and it's all like organized crime stories and things like that. This supplement does get into then what these standard fantasy races do or have as a unique flavor in Eberron itself. Can you run a Terminator campaign? You could run a Terminator style, if you're going for the lore of a robot or something hunting down. It doesn't even just have to be Eberron. You could do that in any RPG, really. But yeah, if you really want a robot that hunts someone down, you could run that in Eberron and just have the villain be a Warforged. The cops, the crims, and the general civies. Sounds very dynamic, Corrida. Corrida says, I watched this one woman and one of her common companions in RP. His username outside of the characters is very D&D. 107, does the animal you shift to change the stats? You would get like a rabbit be fast. No, so 107, what they have done for the shifters here, I'll go back to it real quick. For shifting, as a bonus action, you can assume a more bestial appearance. This transformation lasts for 1 minute until you die or until you revert to your normal appearance as a bonus action. When you shift, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your constitution modifier minimum 1. You also gain additional benefits that depend on your shifter subrace described below. Once you shift, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. So you don't shift in, it's not a wild shape, kind of like what druids do, 107. It's just you take on an appearance and some vague features of your, whatever your totemic animal is, or however you want to describe it. So if we went to the rabbit, which would be kind of like the swift stride. Swift stride shifters are graceful and quick. Typically feline in nature, swift stride shifters are often aloof and difficult to pin down. But it does give examples like rats or other things that move quickly. I mean, you could be a hamster, I guess, if you really want to. So your dex increases by 1. You have proficiency with acrobatics. Your walking speed increases by 5. And while you're shifted, in addition to the temporary hit points, your walking speed increases an additional 5 feet. So that would mean you look pretty human, maybe some rabbit-like features. You know, kind of like a nose that kind of wiggles, or, you know, your ears are a little longer. When you shift, some of your animalistic features become more prominent, and suddenly you go from a 30, well, you know, a normal human is 30, right? So this type of shifter is a normal 35. You go up to a 40 base speed in your rabbit form, quote unquote, or whatever, rat, cat, something. And you get some temp hit points. You like the T-1000? Well, then in that case, Chris, you'd probably be a changeling in the Eberron setting. Because changelings can change their appearance between any kind of a humanoid creature that they've seen. Corrida, with the Pathfinder I played, they stopped doing sessions for low levels for a good month and then kicked out people who hadn't been playing without warning for not being involved, even though you have to meet their level requirements for their session or they won't include you. Unfortunately, I don't know much about those style of communities, Corrida. If you got kicked out in that, I'm sorry. Maybe you could talk to a mod about it. Bubonic won more armor slots for stronger armor. You mean as the Juggernaut you're talking about in the 3.5 edition, Bubonic? Things are going very well, Corrida. I very much appreciate you asking. The channel continues to grow, and the channel continues to grow, and it's doing some amazing things. And us running this fundraiser down here is a part of that growth. I invested in a second camera, and this is a way for us to, without compromising the workshops that we have, be a fun way to help get your hands on some rare figures at less of a cost than if you were to just buy a completely blind box. Changelings would be a good rogue, Fiendish. You are correct. Alexander, Eberron is a campaign setting in Dungeons and Dragons that was introduced in the 3rd edition, or 3.5 specifically. It's existed through 4th, and what we're looking at are the playtest rules for the Eberron campaign setting in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Corrida, I tried, but they said you should have played more. We don't let people back in when they get kicked out. which I'll be honest, I wasn't liking their stance of trying to murder every new character through dice rolls. Yeah, so I think you might be better off without them, Corrida, if that's the way the community is going to act. But I hope you've been well. I hope you've been having a good summer, Corrida. I hadn't heard from you in a while, and I mean, just things with what they are. I hope that you've been able to, kind of get through things, power through, and you're in a better position now. Good. I'm glad to hear it, Corrida. Bubonic One says, and slots and magic add-ons to raise their AC. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Monster Hunter World. You know what? They're having a crossover with Final Fantasy XIV, which has me pretty happy because I don't play Monster Hunter, but I do play 14. Warframe had their update and their convention, so I was in that while it was early this month. Going through the next couple pages here, I'll have fun killing the Rathian. I don't even know what that is, but hopefully I will have fun with it. This is getting into how the standard fantasy races of D&D fit into this unique campaign setting. Elves, pardon me. In fact, it looks like there's even some, here's a racial feat that they're including. Revenant Blade. You are descended from a master of the double blade, and their skills have passed on to you. You gain the following benefits. Increase your dexterity or strength by 1 to a maximum of 20. While wielding a double-bladed weapon with 2 hands, the weapon has the finesse trait for your attacks with it, and you gain +1 AC. On your turn, when you use a bonus action to make a melee attack with a blade at its opposite end of the weapon's damage die from this attack increases to 2d4 instead of 1d4. That's right. You don't be scared of the behemoth. When it uses Ecliptic Meteor, just look. Good old-fashioned MMORPG advice. Don't treat warning indicators or like AoE indicators as swimming pools. And you should be good. King says, tell all your power gaming friends that Warforged are mechanically superior to all other races in every single way. Then be the only character who can actually procreate and sleep with all the lady NPCs. Yeah, so yeah, everyone's playing Warforged, and then by default, even if you make Charisma your dump stat, that means that that all the ladies have to come to you because there's just not interaction with the other PCs. Drow of Eberron. Okay, it's going back into some origin. You know, the Corellian and Lolth, that was, a lot of that lore was optionally expanded in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. And so this is the Eberron take on that schism. $107. Thank you. Oh, 107. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and thank you for noticing us and for being a part of the community. I will say 107. Actually, so you'll be in it now, starting in August, and in every month, on the third Wednesday of the month, I'm going to be looking at my subscriber list, and for every 20 people that are subscribed, I will be I will be giving an item that I'll have a giveaway. And it'll be something like a full pack of minis, a set of Q Workshop dice, some unpainted packs of minis, things like that. Or even just like a $15 off coupon to some other item like a battle mat or a rule book or something. And it's my way of saying thank you for those of you who believe in the channel and put your subscription out there. And hopefully I can send you something cool or reward as a thank you for helping the channel continue to grow. So 107, you should be good and in on that raffle in August when we hold it. King says if the giant meteor is still a thing in Monster Hunter World, you should have to build the block anything armor and then put your shield up to endure it. You're a Gunlance main or a Greatsword. Probably, I think Ecliptic Meteor is the big attack for it. Corina, there's actually a move in Monster Hunter World from a blue flaming manticore that burns the entire room. Plus, that's almost impossible to survive. If you build entirely into your healing items and fire resistance, you can just face tank it. But you lose out on all other defense and offense. Have a great night, 107. Thank you. And King, the issue is that the current statement is it ignores all defense and just instant kills. Ah. So you gotta have some moves. Gnomes. 5 words can defeat 1,000 swords. Gnomes possess a love of knowledge that many would describe as lust. Most gnomes hate physical violence and prefer to solve their problems with words, whether that's a wizard's word of power or a rogue's careful threat. So there are some different schemes that you can take if you want to play a... so mechanically, you're the PHB gnome. Though this scheme that you would roll up and add to your character seems to act as a bridge into Eberron from your standard gnome player. Half-Elves, I'm not half anything. You humans come from Sarlona. The elves are from Erenal. Me, I'm a true child of Corvair. When 2 half-elves conceive, the child is always a half-elf, according to the lore in Eberron. Over the course of generations, families and communities of half-elves have developed their own cultural identity. They dislike the term half-elf. They call themselves Koravar, an elven term meaning children of Corvair. So in this case, they have taken this concept of half-elf and they've just made it a race itself. You aren't a half-elf, you are a Koravar. Half-Orcs of the Shadow Marches. Where the people of the 5 nations know little of your kind, in the swamps of the Shadow Marches, half-orcs are celebrated. Human refugees settled in the Shadow Marches centuries ago, and the first half-orcs helped to cement the bond between these outsiders and native orcs. Many marchers feel that the half-orc carries the best traits of both races, with the strength of an orc and the cunning of a human. So he's killy but cunning, or is he cunning but killy? Halflings. Zombies? Minotaurs? Those things don't scare me at all. But a howling halfling warrior charging you on a clawfoot raptor? Most terrifying thing I've ever seen. So halflings in Eberron are these little savage barbarians that ride dinosaurs. Yep, there you go. It's not quite a dragon lance, but I think that could work, right? Yeah, look, riding dinosaurs into combat and being these aggressive, kind of aggressive peoples. I mean, now up here too, it does say that they have these dragon marks of healing and hospitality. So they're not just like, primal savages, but, look at that. So different halfling quirks. You pattern your behavior on a particular species of dinosaur. You love to boast, and you're always telling exaggerated stories of your amazing adventures. You seek vengeance for a wrong done to your tribe or family. And you see the hand of the spirits in everything that occurs around you. And so these are ways for you to be able to incorporate your standard PHB halfling into the world of Eberron. Or if you have a homebrew, something like that, consider this as an option. Propose it to your DM or something. Here is a Clawfoot Raptor, which is kind of a favored mount of the halflings. Clawfoot Raptor, let's see. Challenge rating 1/2. Oh, also, for those who go on Beast Totem, because they worship dinosaurs, here is your dinosaur equivalent of a totem spirit for being a barbarian. An Ankylosaurus as a bear, a Pteranodon as an eagle, or a Clawfoot Raptor as a wolf. Humans. The dwarf is stoic, the elf is wise, the gnome is cunning, and humans? They can't make up their minds, so they try to be all of these things at once. Well, Corda, night by night, bit by bit, we're growing, we're adding content, I'm trying to be a better broadcaster. I'm doing what I can as more of you are seeing the benefit in who we are and what we do. And as we grow naturally over time. And here you can translate the ASMR, the Gith, Dragonborns, etc. also through these different ways. I don't know if Norton the Knowles still out there, but here's a section on getting Knowles into Eberron. Oh, cool. Thank you very much for that, Corida. I very much appreciate that. You know what? A referral is the best type of compliment that you can give. It means that you like and understand and you want to see more of this and you want to share it with other people. And I do sincerely appreciate you having done that, Corida. Especially going about it by asking and getting permission before doing that. That is a reflection of our values as a community and its members. Fiendish Acorn, yes. Eberron, this is a different campaign setting with its own cosmology and such if you choose to incorporate it. That's great, Corida. That is great. And you know what? Hopefully he comes and visits and says hi. Or especially says, hey, I had someone in my channel, Corida, who recommended you, and I wanted to come and see you. If this person stops by, well, obviously he's welcome. Knowles. In ancient times, the Knowles were servants of the fiendish overlords. Some are savage creatures that remain in the thrall of these demons, but the largest population of Knowles is the Znir Pact of Droam. Thousands of years ago, these Knowles purged themselves of demonic influence and swore to never allow any other creature to hold dominion over them. The Zanir Pact sell their services as soldiers and trackers. Most of the Pact currently serves the daughters of Sora Kel and Droem, but some fought in the last war as agents of House Tharashk, and Tharashk continues to broker their services. As a Gnoll, you could be a former mercenary who's chosen to stay with comrades you met during your service. As a rule, Zanir Knowles are deeply loyal to those that they consider to be members of their pack. You might be driven by curiosity, eager to explore the world beyond Droem. You could be driven by visions of a demonic power rising in the Five Nations or working on behalf of the daughters of Sora Kel. Or you could be a mercenary still, insisting on regular payment for your ongoing services to the party. Very good role-playing prompts. Big section on goblinoids, kobolds, lizard folk, minotaurs, orcs. Because we're doing a review, I know I'm quickly going over sections. If you want me to stop and go back to a particular section, please let me know and I will do so and we can get into detail. I'm just trying to hit some tenets of this campaign setting so that we can get an idea for it for when we build characters tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow we'll make a not a shifter. Tomorrow we're going to make a changeling and a Kalishtar character. Then on Friday we are going to make a Warforged and a shifter character. That'll be a 4-character party of Eberron races. And on Saturday we will use some campaign elements from Eberron in order to make hopefully some kind of Eberron themed campaign. Corrida, I have a saying for you to type. It's called a role-playing game, not a role-playing... Yes. Corrida, I have a shirt that says that, actually. I wear it on occasion, even on stream. Although I'm wearing my NPC shirt. I'm wearing my NPC shirt tonight. But yes. It is R-O-L-E, not R-O-L-L. Tieflings, and here's some others. How about the Tritons or Tabaxi? How did Genasi fit into things? Again, it emphasizes not everything has to exist, but it could possibly exist in Eberron. That's going to be up to you to decide. Eberron, Corrida, Eberron is an alternative campaign setting for D&D where magic is a lot more prevalent. Elementals are harnessed for trains and airships. Most everyone has some kind of at least low-level magical aptitude. And it tries to style itself running kind of swashbuckling or even noir-style campaigns of intrigue and socialization. It's not necessarily just a kick in the door, fight the monster in the dungeon. You could do that in any campaign world. But thematically, it is trying to position itself to be more of a storytelling. Or having a lot more storytelling opportunities in the setting than just a default fantasy setting. In fact, a part of this too that we're getting into are dragon marks, which are intrinsic features to some people here in Eberron. Dragon marks are associated with race, depicted by a combination of variant races and subraces. For humans and half-orcs, a dragon mark is a variant race that replaces normal traits associated with those races. For half-elves, a dragon mark is a variant race. You keep some of the standard half-elf traits and replace others with the traits associated with your mark. For dwarves, elves, gnomes, and halflings, the dragon mark replaces your subrace. So if you're making an elf character, you can choose to take the Mark of Shadow instead of being a wood elf or a high elf. There are 2 additional options related to dragon marks. As your dragon marked character grows in level, you can take the greater dragon mark feat to reflect the growing power of your dragon mark. Alternatively, the aberrant dragon mark feat grants limited but dangerous magical abilities. Aberrant dragon marks aren't tied to the dragon mark houses and can be taken by any character. Dragon marks and backgrounds. Dragon marks are bound to certain bloodlines, and by choosing a mark, you are establishing that your character has a blood connection to one of the families in the dragon marked houses. However, it's up to you to decide on your relationship to the house. Were you brought up in the house, or are you completely independent from it? This is best represented by your background. Consider the following options. Agent. You have a close, ongoing relationship with your house. The house agent background is a good choice if you are actively working for the house. Alternatively, you can take the noble background to reflect a blood tie to leaders of the house. And so on and so forth here. Let's zoom in a little bit and come down to our dragon marks and houses table. So we have a dragon mark of detection, finding, handling, healing, hospitality, making, passage, scribing, sentinel. Here, I'll move to the side. Shadow. Not filled in. Storm and warding. Or I guess shadow must be these 2 houses. That's probably what it's representing here. Yeah, entertainment, espionage, or entertainment, assassination. There we go. Bubonic One says, with Eberron, the saying, do not meddle in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunching with ketchup, is a solid belief dragons don't broker meddling with from lesser races. Yeah, dragons seem to have a heavy hand in the world. Bubonic One. Each dragon mark grants a set of abilities that reflect the inherent powers of the mark. For most marks, this includes an intuition die. This can reflect supernatural instincts or guidance from the mark, or other minor magical effects. Many dragon marks grant limited magical abilities. Over the centuries, the house has developed tools that enhance and channel the powers of a mark, and it's these dragon mark focus items that give the house much of their power. A dragon-marked race gives you a very specific set of traits. However, you can also explain your class abilities as being a result of your exceptional connection to your dragon mark. If you're playing a bard with the Mark of Shadow, you could say that your illusion spells are drawn from your mark. If you're a halfling bard with the Mark of Healing, you could describe your mark as the source of your healing magic, etc. A dragon mark improves your ability to perform a specific type of task. The Mark of Finding sharpens your senses and improves your perception, while the Mark of Making guides your hands when you work with artisan's tools. Each dragon mark has a trait that allows you to roll an intuition die, a d4, when you perform an ability check with a particular skill or tool. You add the number rolled to the ability check. You don't have to be proficient with a skill or tool to gain this benefit. Feats, magic items, and other features may improve your intuition die. This increases the type of die you roll by one size, d6, d8, d10, to a maximum of d10. You can only roll one intuition die for a check. If you receive intuition dice from multiple sources, increase one die by one type and roll that one. For example, if a dragon-marked trait and feat both grant intuition with dexterity stealth checks, you roll a d6 instead of a d4. 3 instances would increase your intuition die to a d8 and so on. A dragon mark is a distinctive symbol that appears on the skin. There are 12 known dragon marks, each unique in design and power. A dragon mark can appear on any part of the body. One half-elf could have the mark of detection across an eye, while another has it in the palm of their hand. Dragon marks are painted in vivid shades of blue and purple, and seem to shimmer or even move slightly. When used, they grow warm to the touch and may glow, though this doesn't produce useful illumination. A dragon mark can't be removed, even if a limb bearing a dragon mark is cut away. The mark eventually manifests on another part of the bearer's body. All dragon marks share the same initial appearance, but a dragon mark can grow in size and complexity if a character takes the greater dragon mark feat, or if the mark is tied to class abilities. While dragon marks share the same general appearance, your dragon mark could have a unique quality. If you'd like to explore this, roll the dragon mark quirks table. Unusually small, remarkably large. It slowly moves around your body. It glows dramatically when you use it. It tingles when you're near someone with the same mark. It tickles when you use it. Or your dragon mark is an unusual color but a normal shape. And here are some examples. Few people have ever seen a real dragon. They work behind the scenes. The land of dragons is almost impossible to get to, and the dragons like it that way. Even keeping pet barbarian clans who slaughter interlopers going to said islands. And here are all kinds of cultural connections. And different backgrounds. Skill proficiencies if you're a house agent, investigation and persuasion. 2 tools by the house, and so depending on the house, you'll get these tool proficiencies. Equipment, set of fine clothes, house signet ring, ID papers, and a purse containing 20 gold. Your house agent role, so there are D8 versions of a house agent. Acquisition, investigation, R&D, security, etc. Just for research purposes for King, if you're still out there, if you want to check the authenticity of her dragon mark, I will leave this picture up on the screen for like 10 seconds. And you can get like a screen cap, or you can just lean in really close and make sure that that is an accurate representation of a dragon mark upon this fair elf maiden's back. She is an agent of one of the houses in Eberron, apparently. She's showing off her background to you, King. Her back and her round. Your feature, you have house connections. You can always get food and lodging with your friends at a house enclave. When the house assigns you a mission, it will usually provide you with necessary supplies, etc. There might be a little foreground there too, King. Bubonic one. So, King, if you believe Bubonic, and there's no reason not to, she's the head of one of the half-elf dragonborn clans. Well, there you go. Well, now, you see, King, in Eberron, half-elves are their own race. They're not just half-elves, because according to the lore that we read, half-elves that breed with half-elves produce half-elves. And so they call themselves Korava, because they're their own thing now. Hey, Rhodium. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen you, Rhodium. I hope you've been well. Personality traits. I share trivia about my house's business. I'm very excited and enthusiastic about everything my house does. My house is family, and I would do anything for my family. I love someone from another house, but such relationships are forbidden as a bond. Discovery. So yeah, going through, full background here. Flaw. I'm overly concerned with following established procedures and protocols. Karaba. What has you stressed, Rhodey? The mark of detection. Because remember, these dragon marks often supplant sub-races or other types of... so, in other words, King, you can be a high elf in Eberron, or you could be an elf with a dragon mark, and the dragon mark is your sub-race. And in which case, you just choose which kind of dragon mark you want. So if you go for mark of detection... So you would be an elf, so you get the 2 decks and whatnot, but instead of the high elf features, you'd have your int and charisma increase by 1, and you get an ability score of your choice that increases by 1. Seductive Intuition, when you make an intelligence, investigation, or wisdom insight, you can roll an intuition die and add the number rolled. Sense threats, you can cast and detect magic and detect poison and disease spells, but only as rituals. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability. And languages, you can speak, read, and write Common and Elvish. Hi, Victor. Welcome. Pull up a chair. You're sitting at a table at a game store. We're talking about Eberron tonight. Well, Rhodey, if you want to open up about it, you're welcome to. Or if you just want to come along for the ride and talk fantasy and writing and creativity, you know we're good for it. Dragonborn, yeah, it's Dragon Mark. If you take a Dragon Mark, it even said so in 4th edition, too. Thank you, Victor. Thank you very much for that follow. It said that Dragon Mark characters are above. I mean, you are more powerful by carrying a dragon mark. Because look, if let's say that King did want to make an elf character, he took the basic elf and then instead of being a high elf, took the mark of detection. Not only would you get the 2 decks from being an elf, you'd get int 1, charisma 1, and another ability score increased by 1, let alone this other stuff that you're getting on top of that. So if you are going to be a DM, and this was true especially in 4th edition and probably in 3rd as well, if you are allowing dragon marks, just be aware that your dragon marked characters will be more powerful from the outset than a normal race and sub-race combination. Oh, I'm sorry. King. It wouldn't be elf. The mark of detection manifests exclusively on half-elves. Now, as a DM, if you want to open them up, can you? I don't see why not. Still, sorry. So that was my. I saw elf. I didn't see the half-elf there. Still, as it does replace some features or accent others, dragon mark characters can be very powerful. Victor asks, should I make a lizard folk or a bird person? What are you trying to do with your character? What's the campaign setting? What did your DM say, or what would your DM allow? Can you give us some more information, Victor? And maybe we can help you out with that. Mark of finding. Okay, so yeah, that's a human and half-orc. Mark of healing manifests exclusively on halflings. If your character is the mark of healing, this is your halfling subrace. Got it. Corrida and the randoms who were helping me got killed. So much for killing the thorn dragon. Oh, you're talking about Monster Hunter still. I wish I could help connect with you on that, Corida. I haven't played it at all. Hospitality exists on halflings. Mark of Making is on humans. Mark of Passage is also on humans. Mark of Scribing is on gnomes. Mark of the Sentinel is on humans. Mark of Shadow manifests on elves. So this would be your elf subrace king instead of a high elf. Your charisma score increases by 1. So you'd be 2 dex, 1 charisma. You gain proficiency with 1 musical instrument and the performance skill. When you make a charisma, performance, or dexterity stealth check, you can roll an intuition die and add the number. You know the minor illusion cantrip. Charisma is your spellcasting ability. And you can use the hide action as a bonus action, even if you have no cover or if you're under observation. Regardless of whether you succeed or fail, once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. The Storm is exclusive for half-elves, and so that's why Dex and Charisma is by 1, and then another ability is of 1, because it becomes your half-elf, because half-elves don't have sub-races. It becomes your half-elf in completion. Victor says, it's a campaign in which the players have to get to a shrine housing a silver dragon, from which they must acquire a rune which can help them defeat a demon lord called the King Scourger. Are you looking, I mean, with that in mind, though, are you looking at a lizard as a lizard folk or a Kenku? Are you going for Kenku or Ariokoka? Are you doing that for just like fun roleplay reasons, or does everyone get the choice between the two? What is your personal why are you looking at these two? Mark of Warding, exclusively to dwarves. Dex and int scores increase by 1. Oh. How about that on a dwarf, huh? When have you ever seen that? An increase in dex and int on a dwarf. Master of locks, when you make an intelligence, history, investigation, or thieves' tools check involving a lock or trap mechanisms, you can roll the intuition die. Wards and seals, you can use your mark to cast the alarm spell as a ritual. Starting at 3rd level, you can cast Arcane Lock once with this trait, and you regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. Wild Dragon Marks have no race requirements. You can make your Dragon Marks greater with a feat. Depending on the mark you choose, it will give you further spells, for instance, Invisibility and True Seeing. Locate creature, find the path, beast sense, dominate beast, etc. Then we have aberrant dragon marks. The 12 are tied to specific bloodlines and passed down through families. They are reliable and predictable, and their powers are constructive. They create, they heal, they protect. But there are other kinds of dragon marks, marks that are unpredictable and dangerous to both bearer and the people around them. So these are the aberrant marks, Bubonic, that you're talking about. And it looks like, ooh, you get a random flaw with it as well. Your mark is a source of constant physical pain. Your mark whispers to you, though you may not understand what it says. In times of great stress, your mark may trigger a cantrip effect involuntarily. You have dramatic mood swings anytime you use your mark. You have horrific nightmares after you use your mark. So if you take the feat to gain an aberrant dragon mark, increase your con by 1. You learn a cantrip from the sorcerer spell list. In addition, choose a 1st level spell from the sorcerer spell list. You learn that spell and can cast it at its lowest level. Once you cast it, you must finish a long rest before you can cast it again. Constitution is your spellcasting ability for these spells. You can increase the power of your aberrant spells at the risk of your own vitality. When you cast a spell with your aberrant mark, you can use one of your hit dice to increase the spell's level by 1. Immediately after you cast the spell, roll the hit die. You take damage equal to the number rolled. That seems like that could get really powerful really quickly. When you cast a spell with your aberrant mark, you can use one of your... Oh, okay. It just says one of your hit dice to increase the spell's level by 1. Okay. I thought, at first in my first reading, I'm like, oh, you could just dump hit dice through your dragon mark and nuke something. But it looks like you can only do it once. You could increase the spell's level by 1. Victor says, the area Coca, and it's my own choice. The players have free choice of character, and I thought it'd be cool to try one of the monstrous races. Well... So, if you want to try a monstrous race, then... You're asking for an opinion between a lizard folk and area Coca. They do different things. What is the attraction of either, Victor? Because I want to understand your approach and maybe where you're getting hung up in the decision. Like, it's seemingly you like both of them as monstrous races, but is it you're not sure which one could be built specifically to achieve this one goal the best, and so we're looking to kind of min-max stats? Or are you just looking for one that you think you'll have just a you know, the mechanics aren't as important as the fun and flavor, the fluff of the character, not so much the crunch. Some custom magic items. Dragon Shards. Dragon Shards are crystals imbued with raw mystical energy. They are the fuel that drives the magical economy, playing a vital role in the creation of magic items and the performance of arcane rituals. Dragon Shards come in 3 distinct varieties, each of which are found in different environments. Eberron Dragon Shards are found in shallow soil and often encased in geode-like stone shells. Eberron shards can be found almost anywhere, but the most significant deposits have been discovered in jungle environments, notably Khyber, and the distant land of Zendrik. In their raw form, Eberron shards are rosy crystals with crimson swirls flowing through their depths. Eberron shards are the most common form of dragon shard. They are primarily refined into a glowing powder. This dragon shard dust can be used to fuel almost any act of magic. When casting a spell, you can use the Dragon Shard dust in place of any spell component that has a cost, unless the DM says otherwise. Dragon Shard dust is used in the creation of magic items and many powerful tools, such as the lightning rail and elemental airships, require an ongoing expenditure of Eberron Dragon Shards to maintain their enchantments. Khyber Dragon Shards are found deep in the earth, often near layers of magma. These living crystals typically grow on cavern walls, and superstition says they flourish in areas with significant fiendish activity. Khyber Dragon Shards are deep blue or dark violet, laced with gleaming veins. Khyber Dragon Shards have oh, that should be an affinity. Have an affinity for binding magics. Elemental binding, which is behind airships, the lightning rail, and elemental galleons, requires a Khyber shard to hold the elemental. Khyber shards are used for phylacteries, planar binding, any other effects that trap or manipulate spirits. Probably should be an or there. Anyway, Khyber dragon shards are also used for many necromantic rituals. Severus dragon shards fall from the ring of Severus, the ring of crystals that encircles the world. While rare in Khyber, there are significant shard fields in the continent of Zendrik, and this is a potential source of great wealth for explorers. Severus dragon shards are amber in color with swirling golden veins gleaming within. Severus dragon shards have a close affinity to dragon marks and are a vital part of any dragon mark focus item. Larger shards may be required for Eldritch machines or used in the creation of legendary items or artifacts. Hey, Steel Dust, this is the new Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. This is the playtest information for Eberron 5th edition. Victor says, both get nice advantages, though I'm leaning towards Lizard Folk at the moment, but don't Aarakocras have the ability to fly or glide? Yes. Shoot. Which splat book are the Aarakocra in? Are they in Volo's Guide to Monsters? Let's see. Here's some other common. Here's some magic items. Our Dragon Mark focus items. Harness and expand the powers of a Dragon Mark, allowing the Dragon Marked houses to provide a wide range of useful services. You must possess a particular Dragon Mark in order to use or attune to a Dragon Mark focus item. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Victor. I don't have the race information in front of me. So it's difficult. I mean, both of them in Volos? If so, then I can go grab that book and we can talk about mechanics. Otherwise, hey, if it's just fun to play a character, play a character. You'll make do one way or another. It sounds like either would have abilities that you can use in the quest that you're going to be facing. Okay, so these are particular to Dragon Marks here. Eldritch Machines, a Dimensional Seal, a Marabrand Resonator, a Stormspire, huh? Ah, here we go. Warforged components. So these are things that you can slot onto your Warforged character. Lizard folk it is. All right, Victor. Oh, it's the Elemental Evil Player's Companion? Ugh, I don't think I have that one. Yeah, so, all right, so unless you provide the stats for me, Victor, unfortunately, there's not much I could do to give advice beyond, hey, it looks like you flip the coin and you have the Lizard folk option. Steel Dust... So this is being treated kind of like a very big Unearthed Arcana, as it is technically playtest material, though the author has indicated that as feedback from the Eberron guide, as they get feedback from it, they will make adjustments. So if you purchase this book on DM Guild, it will receive these updates for free as things get refined and made official into like core D&D concepts. Yeah, go ahead, Corrida. Although exclamation point Beyond can also be used to link to D&D Beyond. Let's see. Diadem stops on 8 and 7. You have advantage. 8 plus 3 is 11. Diadems, you defeat the Orc Warband. Oh, for the race itself, that specific link? That's fine, too. Alright. Everyone, I'm coming up to a break time. I'm gonna get up. I need to stretch, get something to drink here. Why don't we meet back in 5 to 10 minutes, and we can continue talking Eberron. We can talk shop for your own home campaigns. Victor, if there's more that we can do to help you prepare this character, then I'll be happy to help out. And there's others who can as well. Also, for any of you who are new here, you are welcome to join our Discord. And I'll bring that up here real quick. Our Discord has a mentor network and a workshop here that you could go to if you need help building encounters, customizing stuff, if you're a DM or a PC. We have a list of people here who would be happy to step up and help, me included. And this is a good way to connect when I'm not broadcasting as well. If you like what we do here on camera, then I think you could appreciate what we have going on off camera as well. If you do join our Discord, it is safe for work. We keep it PG-13. And we keep it PG-13, safe for work. And I do ask that if your name on Discord is different from your Twitch handle, that you change your Discord name. You could right-click and change nickname. That you change it to match, so that way we can have an easier time communicating back and forth. Well, thank you for that, Corey. I'd like to think that we have some good advice, and a lot of us can help out. Effectively, this Discord channel is a digital game store. You might as well be hanging out in an actual game store. And you know, you're asking help, you're getting cool advice and builds. We have some fun stuff here, like some roleplay, you know, some roleplay memes and whatnot. You know, things for you to enjoy. So, all right. So, everyone, 5 to 10 minutes. Get up, take a break. We'll come back and continue having fun tonight as we're exploring Eberron.